Good morning, gentlemen. Just finished with the gym, got dressed up, and we are on the way to the train station for work. And we smashed out a good pull day. So I feel good, energized, guys. And today, sadly, is my last day having the Fruity Pebbles pure protein bar because I bought a whole bunch of the other ones. So, because I only tested this one now, I never had it, and it ended up being my most favorite one. So, got to eat through the other ones. But I left off in the video in the morning talking about one thing, the one thought that escaped. It finally came back to me, and it's about productivity and time blocking. This was just more of a revelation to me in my personal life. It was more of a personal epiphany of realizing, hey man, look how much work you've been able to do because you really cut off distractions, created a technique of like when you're sitting down, you're paying attention to what needs to be done. And seeing how much work I was able to do in 1 hour, 2 hours, when you really want it, it revealed how much time I wasted. How much time I've given, like I didn't assign any value to the time because I wasn't working for anything specifically. I was just going through the flow. And there is a little bit of bittersweetness in that, guys, especially if you find that shit out later, like in your mid 30s and 40s. I don't know how that might, it will make you look like you threw away your 20s like hardcore. Because if you really sit down and really focus for 2 hours, you can get the amount of work you used to do 5 hours, 6 hours distracted and just going into the task without a game plan. But when you actually sit down and get to work, know why you're doing it, the bigger why, right? The purpose, what's the task at hand, and really have razor like focus, you can complete so much that you amaze yourself. So that was just my little revelation, just knowing that, hey, 2 hours you can get a lot done, especially if you planned, you know your vision, you know what you're supposed to be doing, and now it's just about executing. So I definitely encourage you guys to do this, and this whole channel is going to be surrounded about productivity, discipline, uh, figuring out systems, which is basically a technique to get a certain um, outcome to happen. This whole channel is going to be about it, guys. But let's get to our list of daily do's and make sure that we're not deviating. These are standard operations. This is also the way we're able to determine what we invite into our life and what we throw out of our lives. And it also becomes a filter of determining who we allow to get close to us, and determines if you're looking for a mate, determines if they align with your standard operation, right? If you get into a relationship and you're losing yourself in it, and you begin to see your standards are dropping and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, make sure you establish that early in the relationship, because if you don't, you're not going to be the person that you're meant to be, because these are non-negotiables. These non-negotiables are going to make you feel satisfied, full in life. And that's how you show up into a relationship as a masculine man, to have that frame and order. Because if you lose this, I'm going to guarantee you guys, you're going to lose the woman. Not maybe physically, but emotionally and spiritually. She will disappear, and she'll just, you will lose polarity. And that's, once polarity is lost, I don't know if that's really a relationship. It's just a buddy system. But anyways, let's get into it, guys. Getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, right? Going to the sleep at the right time, waking up at the right time. I'm improving with you all there, guys. Drinking 10 to 16. I say, 16 cups, depending on your activity through the day. Make sure your body has enough water to do all of its functions. Help your body out. It's a beautiful, beautiful technology that God created. Nutrition, make sure you're on point, guys. Whole food, little of the processed stuff. Hitting your daily protein intake minimum, right? You want 80% of your lean body mass, right? Why? Is because we want our body to have enough protein that when you perform your exercises and break down the muscle tissue, your body has something to use to actually build the muscle. You don't want to go work out an hour here, hour there, and realize your body doesn't have enough protein to actually build the muscle that you were in the gym hustling for. So don't do that. Make sure your body has enough amino acids to build. And with that being said, make sure you are going to the gym. Get a gym schedule. Make sure you're getting your steps in. If you're working a lot at an office desk, get up every hour and a half and walk around for 5-10 minutes. Okay, no one's gonna notice you spend that much time on your phone anyways, so go walk around and listen to it. All right, and then let's go. Do you know what your daily tasks are today? You know the routines and the sequence where you're going to do it. Are you going to do it before work, after work, before classroom, after classroom? What is your routine? How does your day look like? How is it structured? You need to have that already downloaded in your brain where you wake up and you already know how the day should look like, okay? It shouldn't be just free flow, all right? And then, so that's the difference. We'll talk about it later, but techniques is basically, okay, you're gonna read, right? For example, you have a routine that after work I'm gonna read, but a technique, a system is like, how are you gonna make that effective? How are you gonna effectively read for a certain result? Why are you reading? Well, I want to gain knowledge about how AI can be used in this kind of scenario. Okay, and then the other one is, okay, that means I need to get my phone undisturbed, make sure I plug in my earphones, that no one talks to me, and you're focused. So so technique system is getting the most benefit of whatever you're doing in the moment. Routine is more about when you do it, while a technique system is how can I make the best out of it. Okay, and then as always, guys, setting up boundaries, self-advocating, guys. Know how to practice, know how to do it, figure out what you accept in your life, what you don't want to negotiate, what are your red flag, they're called red flags, something that your deal breakers. You got to know that all ahead of time. If you don't, just look it up. Good solid standards that a man should have, and etc etc, is because if you don't know who you are, you're not ready to conversate. You need to figure out a good basis of who you are, what you want in life, and stand on that. Because if you don't, you're not gonna have a backbone. You're not gonna have a real personal input in any relationship. And then this is a new one, guys. I think we brought it up early in the channel, but are you intentionally putting yourself into positions where you are growing? Right? Put yourself into positions that make you uncomfortable, new opportunities, take on responsibilities. It is through responsibilities we grow, guys. And then let's go. And then also doing your abundance and gratitude meditation, spending about a good solid minute thinking about all the things that are abundant in your life. What are you grateful for? And give some thanksgiving on that. And then at the end, as always, guys, talk with God. Did you do your daily bread? Did you pray? Are you going through something and you need guidance? Ask for it. Are you lacking something in your life? Ask for it. Right? You're going through a trouble? Ask help. He's your deliverer. He's your restorer. He's your guidance. He's there for you. Ooh. Policeman's pulling someone over. Dang. Well, we got lucky because we were doing the same speed limit. Sorry, buddy. And also on the way to work. But anyway, I'll remember that for tomorrow. But yeah, guys. What was else? Oh, last, because I'm pulling up to the parking lot. Do not. What are the thoughts? Sorry, guys. As you grow, you will realize that responsibility is where you get stronger. When you start taking accountability, you walk with more integrity. And when you start facing your fears, fear of failure in particular, you actually succeed more in life. If you overcome the fear of failure, you're going to be drawn to success, and success will be drawn to you. If you overcome the fear of rejection, you'll walk with confidence. You have to overcome the fear of rejection, guys. It's okay for people not to like you. It's absolutely okay. The world doesn't need to like you for you to feel good about yourself. Okay? That has to come from your inner being. All confidence comes from within. Yes, it's nice to get validation and encouragement and all that stuff from the external world, but it means nothing when there's, for example, there's girls that need attention, constant attention, and they always get it in their external reality, but it doesn't change, but they still seek it, they still need it even when they get it 20-30 times a day. Why? Because they have a low self-esteem. They don't have, it doesn't come from within. This for men, you need to build self-confidence from within. Now, even people that you look up to that might not like you or might say something that is hurtful, it doesn't destroy you. You have to be the center of approval in your life. Of course, under the guidance of the Holy Spirit. You don't want to become egotistical and create a God complex, but you want to be secure in yourself where you're humble. It is through these repetitions of rejection that you realize that the external environment can't really do anything to you. Fear of failure is basically just thinking that if I try to do something and I don't end up doing it well, people might not like me, or I might not like myself. And the same thing is rejection. Your first mission is to overcome fear of women's rejection. If you can do that early in your life, trust me, your life you'll be ahead of like 90% of men. Like after my course of time where I went through that season of like dating and cold approaching and talking to women, I sometimes pray to God, hey God, I want to start feeling nervous again. I don't feel like when I approach now, I don't feel nervous. I don't feel butterflies. It's just it's gone. Fear of failure, not fear of failure, fear of rejection, it's gone. It's like me going up and it's like, I think she's attractive and I would like to see how her personality is. And that's it. If it goes well, awesome. If it doesn't go, it's cool. But it's just through repetition, you realize no one really has any power over you. You just give out your power to others. That's what happens. So when you internalize everything and stop outsourcing approval, life changes for the better. And that is realizing that the kingdom of God is within you, that the presence of love exists inside and it comes from within. So a little bit shorter on the video, but the last thing I want you guys to meditate on is what words are running through your mind. Because it is through the words that we see reality. And this word I just learned today. It's a personalized definition, but resolve is making the decision that you won't quit until the mission is complete. And I thought that was beautiful. Like resolve. You just don't quit. You made a decision not to quit until it's accomplished. And if you look at how the media chooses certain words, like where's courage, boldness, grit, discipline? Like all that word vocabulary doesn't exist in modern, like on the average day. It's like comfort, convenience, and etc. It's like we have created a enabling society through our words. Instead of realizing, hey, power through, will, perseverance, consistency. Like that doesn't, if you don't particularly seek that out, it's not available. And this is why people just are so passive, comfortable. They just go with the flow, and they end up places they don't want to be, and end up into a person that they don't like, is because they were comfortable. Comfort is a bad parent. It's a bad spiritual parent, because when real life hits, that kid who was always comfortable gets his ass whipped by life to the point where they don't know what to do anymore. So seek out resistance, areas to grow. You have to always be growing, because if you're not, I'm going to tell you, the world's going to hand it to you, because you didn't set yourself up for success. Comfort, cool, but you can see people who went through comfort and they go into the real world, they can't handle the pressure. They can't handle the stress. They don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to deal with people that talk bad about them behind the back. They just don't know how to deal with it, because they were programmed into Disneyland. Disney Channel messed them up. So make sure you're seeking out growth, internal growth, where you are becoming dead to the world and alive to God, where the external environment doesn't determine who you are, but God determines who you are. And your identity comes from God, and only from God, from the invisible realm, not the visible realm. If your confidence comes from the visible realm, that's that shaky foundation that when, troubles and tribulations come, you crumble under pressure. When bad news comes, you get all emotional and stuff. That's not going to bring you success. If you realize who's successful in the world, guys, you're going to realize it's the people who are able to remain at peace, calm, and they have this confidence like we can handle it. Water. Whatever's thrown at it, it absorbs it and it keeps on moving. It doesn't let it they don't let their minds and hearts be disturbed. And this is what Christ said, be not disturbed. I told you ahead of time, tribulations and all these things will happen, but don't worry, I have overcome the world, right? And if you focus on Christ, he will always be that anchor within your consciousness, because once you lose peace and joy, your mind begins to make vain imaginations, and you begin to lose sense of a ground. And you don't make right decisions when you're frustrated, angry, stressed out, lack. You start entering survival mode, and you begin to make the wrong decisions. But if you keep your mind locked in on Christ, on the invisible realm, on the eternal and immortal, you'll be able to perceive differently. And through that perception, you'll be able to make the right decisions. But all right, gentlemen, I'm going to go catch a train because I got to show up to work on time. And I'll catch you guys later. As always, be intentional, know your whys, get your schedule done, and take action. And always, as always, pray with God. Ask for the daily bread. All right, boys, take care.